Okay, let's tackle one of the biggest questions out there. How do great powers rise and fall?
I mean, you see the signs, right? Rising debt, political infighting, global tensions.
Well, investor Ray Dalio thinks he's found a pattern by studying the last 500 years of history. He calls it the big cycle. It's basically a roadmap for how empires rise and, well, fall.
And you can really see it here. The Dutch, the British, the US, they all seem to follow a similar path. So it all breaks down into three basic stages: the productive rise, a fragile peak, and then the turbulent decline. All right, so what actually drives this whole cycle? Turns out it's three big things. You've got huge debt cycles, you've got fighting at home, and you've got conflict between nations. And a huge sign of being on top? Having the world's main reserve currency.
But here's the problem. When debt gets too big, governments just start printing more money.
And that just tanks the currency's value, essentially erasing the country's wealth. All that financial pain, it spills over into politics, creating a really dangerous downward spiral. And look, this isn't just some old theory. Let's look at a recent example, Sri Lanka.
For years, Sri Lanka had a twin deficit. Basically, they were spending way more than they were making. So they started taking on riskier, more expensive private debt instead of stable loans. By 2019, the country was on the brink, needing billions every year just to pay its debts. Then came the tipping point, a huge policy mistake that pushed everything over the edge. They slashed taxes and boom, nearly a third of the government's money just vanished. And just like the cycle predicts, they started printing money like crazy to cover that gap. The result? Total economic collapse, massive shortages, and huge internal conflict. So, what does all this mean for the big players on the world stage today? This is where it gets really interesting. Let's look at Dalio's scorecard for the US and China. The US is still number one in tech, but it's dealing with serious debt and political division. Meanwhile, China is catching up fast and is financially stronger, but has its own set of issues. Dalio's work gives us a map of these forces at play, leaving us with a huge question.